We're not all given the same talents. We're not all given the same opportunities. I don't disagree. We definitely don't all have the same outcome. But there's no other place in the world where you can rise up than you can in America.
No place where you can come wherever you know, and I know people don't like this term, but if you pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you put your nose to the grindstone in 2021, and if you don't believe this, you're part of the problem. Anyone of any creed, any color, any gender, whatever, can succeed if you put your nose to the grindstone, you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you don't let anything or anyone get in your way of your pursuit of success.
Right, and it's all dependent on you. Right, it's the choices you make, and I really wonder if that's what society is trying to get rid of. Is that, you know what? I don't want to be a product of my own decisions. I think I want somebody else to make my decisions, because if you look at through the history of the world, that's what's led to all of these countries' demise and being taken over by a dictatorship, whether that's communism or whatever other ism you want to throw out, whether it's a dictator, right? It's always, I want to, you know what, I just don't know what I want.
It's Monday. Not sure how you did it, but you actually survived an entire...
And our government is filling that role as fast as they possibly can. But these people who don't know what they want, or they don't want to take care of themselves. And it's just something I really don't understand at all.
It's like a large group of this country are the wife that goes, I don't care, we go eat anywhere, wherever. And the government is trying to be the husband saying, okay, I'll decide where we're going to eat.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's even worse than that. I don't care where my food comes from, or I don't care. You make the decision for me. I don't care what I wear. I don't care where I go to sleep. I don't care what I believe. Tell me what you want me to believe. And that I don't understand it. I saw some video yesterday that my son showed me about. Somebody, it was campus reforms, were interviewing people, kids, basically young people, about what does it mean, what does freedom mean to you? They couldn't answer it, and then they said, do you love this country? And they all, I'm sure they edited it well, but they all said, no, I'm very ashamed to be an American. And I would look at that person and say, have you ever been to another country? That's all I'd ask. And if you have been to another country, what other country have you been to? Because I've been all over the world. I've been to over 50 countries, and there's not a better country on this planet than the United States. And, by the way, every country I've been to, the people that I deal with in that country would agree in a heartbeat. As much as I loved Costa Rica, everybody I dealt with there would have switched places with me in about 30 seconds.
Oh. When I went to San Miguel in the arid mountains of Mexico, our maid that she had four or five hotel rooms that she was in charge of taking care of for $40 American a week. And when I gave her $100 tip, she broke out into tears and asked me, Senor, are you sure this is right? Because she didn't understand why I was giving her so much money. And I said, well, you don't have the same advantages I have. And she goes, yes, because you live in the great country of America, and I do not. That was her response to me.
Yeah. Sure. And again, everywhere I've been, it's and not all of them love us.
No.
I've been to Japan on the anniversary of dropping a bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Been in Hiroshima wearing my naval uniform. That was maybe the most uncomfortable I've ever been in my life. But I think every person there understood what it meant to be an American. So, there's no place I would rather live. Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
And
and I could probably live in almost any state in this great union and end up being okay. Right, because of this country, and that we still expect and I think this is,
I don't know.
this is a big part.
California's kind of suspect.
Oh man, you can live in San Diego.
California's kind of suspect.
And again, there are parts of California that are amazing, but you know why you could still make it, because people still appreciate hard work, effort, and we want greatness. At the core of the American people is we want to thrive and we want to do better, and we know in our heart of hearts that if we do those things, we can make it. Right? If we make the right decisions, and it's very clear, and this is the two things I tell every kid that I ever coach. If you want to be successful in life, you have to start with two things. The first one is you have to get the order right. And these are the two things. Get the order right. Get married, then have kids. If you get married, if you look at two-parent income households and then they have children, doesn't matter how many children they have, they are infinitely more successful. Higher home,
100%.
Lower jail rates. It goes across the board. Higher SAT scores, better grades at school. Two parents is the key to success in this country, no matter what your economic level is. And that is what we've been afraid to talk about, because we've gone so far in putting these single parents up on a pedestal. And I'm not criticizing them. We all make our own decisions.
And by the way, there are some single parents out there that are amazing. They really are.
I'm sure. But you know what? In every one of those cases, if that single parent had a partner in this world that was supportive of both them and their family, that whole family would be better off.
Oh, I grew up with a single parent.
That's the bottom line.
I grew up as a single parent household through the years that should have not been me growing up. I grew up from 11 years old till I was an adult. And that's the most formative years of a young man's life, is when he's becoming a teenager, puberty's taking over, teenagers taking over, all the things that you get confronted with that time. That is the most important time for there to be a two-parent situation, in my opinion. And I grew up in a one-parent situation. It's one of those things where they just didn't get along anymore, and they parted ways. And I would live sometimes with my dad, sometimes with my mom. I feel like I got cheated out of some life lessons I'd have probably had better taught to me if there'd have been a united front. I think that what you said there is 100% correct, because I lived that life. I think that I would have probably made better life choices if I'd have had a united front as parentals, instead of parentals that, well, your dad's a piece of garbage. Well, your mom, she doesn't like me because I drink. And that's what you heard back and forth. I didn't have children because I didn't want to end up being like my parents. The scarlet letter I wear in my life is I've never had children. I'm the last boy in my family. The Schmidt's name ends with me in my branch of the tree, out of a decision I made personally. Not because I couldn't, not because because physically couldn't. I personally made a choice that I was not going to end up with children that were like me, because my parents had gotten divorced and it was just a mess. And so you're right, because I didn't have the parental unit that was a together unit, that was a united unit. I decided not to have children. Could we have denied the world? I doubt it, but could we have denied the world some fantastic leader or scientist or something? Who knows? And we'll never know, because I made the decision not to be like my parents.
But if you look at the root of a lot of these isms, that's the first thing they take apart. And that's my problem with Black Lives Matter, is when you read their charter, they want to get rid of the patriarchy. The patriarchy, as it's defined, is that there's a mother and a father in every home, and the father, for lack of a better term, is a leader. I've been married for a long time. There are very, very few decisions that have any consequence that I don't talk to my wife about, and we don't
100%.
But if Black Lives Matter, if their charter is to remove that, then our society will suffer the consequences. And again, look at our prisons, and you look at the number of prisoners that come from single-parent households. You look at the mental disorders and the issues that are surrounded by not having both parents. And I believe that when two parents is a man and a woman. I believe that. There are certain things that I can deal with my boys who are both 17 and 20 that my wife cannot. And that has been the case their whole lives. And guess what? There are issues that my wife can deal with my two boys that I cannot.
You have no idea. Exactly.
There's a different hand. There's a different approach. My wife can be upset with the kids, and it rocks them far more than I do. But they also know that if I get upset, nobody's going to be happy for a little while.
Well, if we don't go to break,
because I'm a much tougher. Yeah. Well,
if we don't go to break, Joe Martone's going to get upset, and then I'll just have to hear him scream and yell at me like a 17-year-old boy. So we got to go to break.
Block. Yeah, there you go. Good.
We'll be right back after this timeout. You listen to Ocala. Ocala Talks on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
It's Monday. Not sure how you did it, but you actually survived an entire 2 days without hearing from Tom. Good job to you. And once again, good luck.
Welcome back. Ocala Talks on Monday. Day after do this Monday show. American Moms at 10:30 this morning. Lori Martin Gregory and Vanessa Stanfield, brought to you by Stanfield Chiropractic. But in the interim, Galen Unal joins us from Life South, brought to you by Penn Flooring and Just Ship. Galen, we're talking about the chance to be successful in this country. Not only can you be a success if you have the two-parent household, but if you do have the single-parent household, you can be a success. There's many success stories. I mean, my mentor, Buddy Martin, came from basically his father was gone so much and all, and then his mom raised him. She was a deputy sheriff here in town, and he went on to astronomical success at the Star Banner, and then the Denver Post, the New York Daily News, the St. Pete Times, Florida Today, which was a precursor to USA Today newspaper. I mean, he's very competent. So there are the people out there, and then you have people like me, single family household, not the brightest individual in the world when it comes to common sense. Book smart, I'll put my book smarts up against anybody. Common sense, when I was younger, I was I was a dumbass. Let's just go ahead and clear it up. I was, and made terrible decisions. Drugs, partying, women, all kind of bad decisions. But yet, the beauty of this country is if you atone for your issues, if you ask people for help, you ask people for forgiveness, and you show a desire to work hard and succeed, that second and third chance sometimes is what it takes. But you're afforded that with the freedoms we have in this country.
Sure. I'm going to just put a cherry on the single-parent household Monday. and I've said this many times, if you look at the NFL, every quarterback that's on an NFL roster comes from a two-parent household.
Every one of them.
Doesn't matter
their race. Doesn't matter their race. Every one of them come from a two-parent household.
That's correct. And again, of course, anything is possible in this country. That's why we live in the greatest country on the planet. It's a tougher road. It's a bigger hill to climb when you only have one parent. And a part of that is you're completely in a different sphere. So yeah, that's a real issue.
It really is an issue, but it's one that is society going to correct that issue, or is society going to continue to push towards the single household? It can be just as successful. By the way, just in the sheer fact of, if you have more than one child or two, even one child, and I don't have any children, so I don't know, I may be speaking out of my rear end, but just the fact that you have two adults to help with the day-to-day just craziness of child rearing has to be better than one adult trying to do it. By the way, one adult who's trying to hold down a job or two jobs to fill in for the money that two parents would have. I mean, just having two adults in the situation has to be better than one adult.
Oh, heck yeah. There are things that two parents just can't do. And I'll give you an example. There are some things that I think are just so much fun to do with my boys. And my wife's like, I could care less about all of this. And the reverse is true, right? I mean, that's just called balance. And again, there are times when I'm the bad guy, and there are times where she's the bad guy. And that's part of that balance. It's biblical, and I think that as individuals, we were meant to. You were meant to have a mother and a father, and all that brings. And I say this every Father's Day. Fathers in our country right now are the most undervalued thing in our society. When you look at how society views fatherhood, it's incredibly underrated. So until that changes, until as a society start holding up our fathers as what they truly are, and being a good man is important again, it will continue that downward spiral.
I couldn't agree more. And look, two family households, if you're two of the same gender, and you can make it work. Look, whatever helps to make a child successful. So I don't ever tell anybody what decisions they should make as adults. But I do know this: two parents are better than one parent. Now, depending on what you see as the parental situation, where it must be man and wife, or two men, two women, however you want to look at it, two adults raising a child is better than one adult raising a child every time. Now, there are some biblical reasons why I agree with Galen that a man and a woman should be the unit. But no matter what you feel the unit is in your personal life, two is always better than one. And you're never going to convince me any different.
Yeah, and I would probably say three is too many.
Three is way too many. Three is way too many. That's a whole different story I don't want to get into. And believe me, three is way too many. And I'm just I'll tell you that story one day off the air. Three is way too many. Because when one of them's mad, the other one's mad at you. And when one of them's mad at the other one, they want you to pick a side. It's too many. Anyway.
I couldn't do it. Hey, well, we have 2 minutes before you go to break.
We don't. We got about 40 seconds.
I can make it. We have an announcement. So Life South is proud to announce that we are now sole blood provider for all of UF Health. So that's the UF Health that's in Jacksonville, and we are now the sole supplier for all of the villages and the hospital in Leesburg. So,
for UF Health.
Yeah.
So basically,
for UF Health.
Basically, Galen is now a Gator. He's no longer a Seminole fan. He's a Gator. So,
well, we've been Gators. We started. The first hospital we ever served was UF Health Shands.
Well, Shands
created us.
We got to go to break, pal.
There you
go to break. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM.